Good morning, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. We didn't even begin and I already have cards spilling everywhere. Hold on a second. Okay, good morning. We're going to do a twin flame reading. Masculines on the left, feminines on the right, union energies down the center. I didn't even begin. Nope. Cards are jumping today. Let me shuffle again just to clear our energy. Deep breaths, everyone. Everybody ground. Feel the floor or the seat beneath you. Remember that you are supported. Okay, great. Spirit, thank you for being with us. Hover over us. Let grace run through us. With you, all things are possible. Okay, for masculines. What do we got? You know what? I am not going to use this deck. I feel like, ever try to walk into a room and 1,000 people are talking and it's like you can't hear a message? That's what's happening with this deck. Let's move on. Let's go back to my tried and true. Okay. Thank you, Spirit, for masculine energy. What are the masculines confronting? What are the blocks on their path? What are the solutions to those blocks? What do we need to know for the highest and best good of self and the planet? We go from a chatterbox deck to a deck that doesn't want to open its mouth. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. We have pride in reverse. Anything else for divine masculines? Anything else for this exalted path? We have forgiveness. And we also have manifestation. Interesting. Okay. And for feminines? We have healing in reverse. This feels in alignment. Did you see that come out? It came out upright and then flipped over. We have financial discipline. Yeah, I'm going to leave it in reverse because this feels very on point for the feminines right now. Okay, anything else for feminines? Anything else you want to share for feminines? Thank you so much. We have spiritual career. Okay, for union energy, Spirit, for union energies. God, these messages are on point. On point. Okay, I have an explosion. Bear with me. All right. Sorry, I had to crawl under the table. What do we have here? In the union energies, we have love partnership. We have moderation, so temperance and balance. We also have perseverance in reverse. And, are you ready for this? We have spiritual partnership. We have love partnership, spiritual partnership. I mean, I'm very excited about this reading. Let's calm down. What's in? Let me get a... Sorry, I needed to get a stand because I like using these stands. So in the unconscious position, we have parenting. And I'm just going to take that parenting card and put it right here, front and center, because you guys know how much I love to start with the shadow position. So let's do this. Every reading's different. And for those of you who've been following me, you know every reading's very different. And I approach it differently because of how the energies come out. So for the collective union energies, both feminine and masculines are pushing this parental role into the shadow position, meaning something about it is difficult. They don't want to look at it. I say they, I mean we don't want to look at what accountability we get to take to parent these inner parts of self that are struggling to do all of these things, which we'll get into. Okay, so I just want us to keep in mind that this parenting energy is being pushed into the shadow. Here's the thing about the shadow position. It's either what we're pushing into the shadow or what's hidden in our unconscious. So something that may have not been revealed yet. Okay. I'm already out of breath. I'm already getting fired up a little bit. Where do we start? Where do you want to start? I cannot stop staring at this union energies, but we're going to save the best for last. So let's start in the masculine energy. On the left here, we have pride in reverse. We have forgiveness and manifestation. Yeah, I mean, I get it, masculines. It's a little, masculine energy are having a tough time feeling proud of themselves after, this awakening around all of the things they did or did not do in their life. Maybe this has to, maybe this is directly correlated with your feminine. Maybe you're feeling unworthy because of your actions or non actions, things you said, things you didn't say. And so your work, masculines, is learning to forgive yourself and other, whatever that is. It could also be forgiving parents, forgiving parental figures in your life who did not act how you thought they should, who did not support you in the way that you needed. It's time to forgive yourself, right? It's time to step into the role as the parent that you never had, or gift yourself the parenting that you never had. When you can clear your vessel, masculines, when you can shine a light on all of these internal parts, you can integrate and embody this beautiful. Sorry, I'm getting really distracted right now. Hold on. Sometimes sometimes these messages, I get caught off right in the middle of a whole message. All right, just to summarize, I feel like I'm all choppy today. Just to summarize, masculines, your work is in inner forgiveness, inner and outer forgiveness. Your work is in excavating that which you can be proud of. I also notice, you can't see on camera, but I'm like swaying back and forth. I am very like almost like pacing energy. I'm a little jittery. I have not had my cacao. I don't drink coffee. I barely even had my water yet. And and so I have to honor that this may be a piece of the masculine collective, this kind of nervous energy, it's like once we become awakened to these different parts of our lives, we see where we screwed up. We see where we caused harm and pain to ourselves and others. We want to take accountability, but to get close to it is scary, right? It triggers all of our stuff. It triggers our wounding. It's very much tail between the legs energy right now, masculines. But your homework is in to find the moments that you can be proud of, the actions you took that you can be proud of. Your feminines love you. You can't, one of my mentors always says you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and that our partners, our divine partners, are not interchangeable. So there's nothing that you can do that is unworthy of forgiveness. Okay. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah, and when you can clear the deck of your energetic field, when you could take accountability for, sorry, I'm very drawn to the root chakra, the crown, and the throat chakra. There's something here about taking physical accountability by speaking your truth, by asking for forgiveness, by doing the hard thing, by putting your ego and pride aside in order to show up vulnerably, show up humbly, show up with your tail between your legs. You don't have to be polished, masculines. You don't have to be you don't have to be perfect. And it's sort of ridiculous for you. Sorry, that sounded hypercritical as it came out of my mouth. We're all about useful energy. I was about to say it's ridiculous for you to hold yourself to this high of a standard, but listen, we're human. We all have different pain and traumas, and the perfection templates are pretty loud here. So, masculines, go back to your inner parenting work. Maybe you grew up in a family where they demanded perfection, where everybody was a high overachiever. And so anything less than exceptional was unheard of. And thus, maybe you felt excommunicated from the tribe. Maybe you felt pushed out or unaccepted or whatever it is. This is your stuff to heal. When you heal all of this, you will be able to manifest in alignment. You will be able to identify and discern what is an appropriate manifestation. Having done this humble work, you will also manifest in a way that is humble, in a way that I think, masculines, what's coming through here is you're also going to be surprised with what actually delights you. There's something really beautiful coming in for you masculines, where once you dismantle all of these external expectations, either from yourself or from your parents or from others, you're going to see that you need so little to be happy, that what you would, if you had your druthers and you could manifest anything in the world, what you'd actually manifest that's in alignment with your soul's deepest truth, with your heart's deepest longing, is actually the simplest thing. And maybe that's just a loving partner who loves you. Maybe that's a happy home. Maybe that's a happy family life with great meals together and wonderful dinner on the table, and laughing with your partner every night, and learning things together. And it doesn't have to be this. You don't have to be a Nobel Peace Prize winner. I think there's some little taking sort of these expectations off the pedestal and rightfully placing your own worth, your own desires, your own happiness. I need to keep something into perspective for some of you. Listen, it's absurd that we all try to go through life in the same manner. It's absurd because we all have unique soul contracts here. So it's so silly to me that we all get cranked out through this factory school system. Then most people try to go to college, and then most people try to get a job. And it's like this conveyor belt of expectations. And so I think because we have such deep roots and patterning in us, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of intention and a lot of work to unweave, to unwind those neurological pathways in the brain, masculine. So once you do that, you will be able to, you're going to surprise yourself. I'm just very drawn to the 8 on the manifestation card. Yeah, it's like once you find your soul song, your heart song, you will be able to manifest in this infinity loop, over and over and over again, because you finally figured out the right formula, the right configuration. And you realize how simple it is because you're actually listening to yourself, right? You're taking action on your sovereign desires and choices. You're not taking action based on anyone else's expectations of you. Okay, let's roll over to feminines. I kind of can't believe this, and also it's very much #ordinary. I say that a lot. That came out of a line Carolyn May said when she said, "We have to take the extraordinary out of God. We need to bring God down to ground level and realize that all of this stuff is completely ordinary." So me and my friends, we joke around and we'll say, "Oh, that's #ordinary. It's just normal. Of course you had that miracle. Of course you had that synchronicity. Of course that song came on the radio when you were thinking about your father and they played that at the funeral." Things like that, these kind of amazing synchronicities. And I'm not saying don't celebrate them and enjoy them, but we really have to start training ourselves to understand that spirit and the universe is always working with us, right? We are not separate from the quantum field. We are one with it. So the sooner we start recognizing that, the sooner we start understanding, when I breathe, the field breathes. We are one, right? We breathe as one. I'm hearing Clarissa Pinkola Estes in my mind when she told a great story. I won't tell it here, but basically, she went running to her grandmother because she experienced a really extreme synchronicity. She asked God or the field or the universe for an answer, and she got it. And she went screaming to her grandmother, "Oh my God, look, I got the answer. I got the answer." And her grandmother looks at her and goes, "What next? Are you going to go yelling through the town that you can breathe?" That was her way of saying, this is ordinary. Your relationship with spirit and the world around you, this is ordinary. Okay, beautiful. Moving on. Feminines. Excuse me. All right, we have healing in reverse, we have financial discipline, and we have spiritual career. I mean, if this isn't a slap in the face direct message, I don't know what is. Feminines, you need to heal your spirit. How do I say this? Can you help me out here? I'm seeing this is so weird. I don't know why this is being shown to me. I'm seeing like an elf house. Like I'm picturing the Keebler elf house where it's like a tree stump and there's doors and windows, but I'm seeing a bunch of doors. It's not just like one door and a cute, quaint window. It's like 5 doors, and I'm being shown like, okay, which doorway are you going to enter this? Because there's all these possibilities. Feminines are healing their relationship to financial matters, period. They're learning how to speak their truth when their intuition rises. So many of us, being raised in this patriarchal culture, have learned to not only second guess our voice and our intuition, but to shut it down altogether and say things like, oh, I couldn't possibly know the answer, or they must know better than I am, or they're louder, so they must, they're more confident, so they must be right. Right? We are dismantling all those different things here, and we are healing our bodies. We are healing our financial stability, our feelings of safety in the world, our feelings of self-reliance, feminines. We are healing all of these root chakra things and learning how to discuss them and talk about them and excavate our truth and communicate that truth from a very grounded, empowered, and sovereign way. Notice this healing is it's a Merkaba that it's blue on blue. It's like pure throat chakra energy. So, it's just excavating the tools that you need to be able to stand on your own. Careful with spending. I'll just say that so you guys can hear it. Careful with your spending. Maybe budgeting is useful for some of you. Thinking about long-term desires, long-term plans. And then we have spiritual career. Maybe there's some of you that never felt like you could actually build a life rooted in your spiritual gifts. Maybe you're healing that part of your relationship with worthiness and money mindset. I think as healers, there's been a lot of healing that we're doing with ourselves regarding money. Healing work is so deeply rooted with love. And so I know so many healers that, including myself, I have moments where, it's like we came here to love. We came here to be love and to recognize love within others and to connect with one another and to learn how to manage our power. We didn't come here to worry about money. And so that's like a really big obstacle that most healers have to overcome. And yet money is a reality right now. Maybe in a new earth, it'll be different. Maybe it'll be, it'll be like more like a barter economy, or where we actually just love each other enough to just want to take care of each other. So we share goods, we share resources, we share all these things. I need more information, but let me go into the union energies. I'm just going to put this on pause, feminines, for a little bit. I think you have enough there. Just that alone you'll be busy with. This union energy, I know it's ordinary, but I sort of can't believe it. So in the union energy, we have love partnership, we have moderation, we have perseverance in reverse, and we have spiritual partnership. Okay, let's just go into the one reversal, start there. Some of you are losing hope, and let's honor that that's real. Vibrate those emotions so they, you can release them from your body, because any sort of doubt, any sort of fear, any sort of, when you wait long enough, you undoubtedly hit those moments where you're like, I've been treading water enough. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I want to be with my person. I want to be on mission. I want to start shifting the planet, right? It's very hard to be patient for this amount of time. You might have been waiting months. Most twin flames I know have been waiting years. And let's be clear, when I say waiting, I don't mean being in waiting energy. I mean taking radical accountability for what's showing up on our side of the street. Because here's the thing, you have enough work to do by yourself. it's not up to you when you come into union. That's up to God. That's up to the energies themselves. The energies, the higher, oh my God, I can't even talk today. I'm sorry. Your higher self and your twin flame's higher self will know when the resonance is ready, when it's like, when the instrument is in tune and it's time to come together. Is there anything else about that, Spirit? Yeah, so some of you are giving up hope right now, and that's your work. So understand, maybe if you are feeling hopeless, if you are starting to go into like suffering and despair and yearning and longing, that's an invitation for you to call your spirit back and reground. You are being challenged. This is a lesson. This is an examination of your skills up to this point. Can you love your person and be unattached to outcomes? I'm not going to pretend to know exactly what an exalted relationship is supposed to be, right? We are all channels. We are all interpreters of energy. However, I believe that when we come into that sovereign, grounded, self-sourced, self-contained energy, and when we can connect with another, with the masculine or another feminine or whatever your configuration is, we can, it's like our sovereignty will then be able to hold the weight of the mission, the weight of the resonance of the frequency. It's almost like the visual I'm getting is when the God frequency is not a small thing. I don't know how many of you have experienced that through your body, that moment of oneness. Most people can't sustain it because you'll go nuts. Like you can't live a regular life and sustain that level of oneness all the time. I myself am very connected to that energy, and I experience it in fragments. It comes in waves, almost like grief. If any of you have experienced grief, where all of a sudden it like wells up in you, and you remember someone you lost or something, and then you have that wave of emotion. That's sort of how oneness moves through me, and it's like it's such a full body, a profound experience. Like it'll have me on my knees weeping. Like it's just so beautiful. And why am I telling you this? Because listen, this is like my scoldy auntie energy. If you are not an appropriately prepared vessel, that energy will blow out your circuits and you'll have to recover from it instead of being able to flow with it and to know what to do with it. This is really important here. Okay. Yes. Collectively as twins, and as, feminine, masculine energies, we are being tasked with temperance. We are being tasked with, can we honor the love that is in our hearts while not losing our grounding, without losing our footing? Can we keep an eye on what's showing up on our side of the street? I'm very drawn to this moderation card with this red Merkaba. So, can we have moderation regarding our financial stability? It's another financial card that came up for both masculine and feminine. Can we take accountability for what makes our life solid? That's just the easiest way to say it. So what are those things for you? We all have to deal with some sort of money. We all have to deal with some sort of shelter, right? Your living situation. We all have to deal with taking accountability for our own energy, meaning like, are we moving through the world in fear all the time? Or can we trust, and cultivating that trust, right? You don't just say, okay, I'm going to surrender, God, and just jump off the cliff. If you were working with a spiritual mentor would take time, maybe even years, to prepare you for that very precise moment of surrender. You can't just do a ritual and light some candles and say, okay, I'm going to give you all my fear. And then tomorrow you wake up panicked and totally fear-ridden, right? It takes precise, it's precision work to literally go into oneself, go into one's body and soul, and to identify these micro little tethers on where that fear is stuck, on where, and you have to carve them out, right? You can't just cut weeds off at the stem. You have to dig them out from the root, right? So there's something here about really doing your due diligence to excavate these moments of where you're tethered, you're anchored, where you have to dig out these cords. It's so funny too in these like spiritual communities how everyone says cut the cord, cut the cord, cut the cord. But when you cut the cord, there's the root of the cord still stuck. So it's just a funny thing. And I'm just inviting you to be even more precise with your languaging, to be aware, to take accountability for everything that comes out of your mouth. Do you believe it to be true? And if so, is it serving you? Is it serving another? Can you edit your language in a way that leaves only the essence, the deep, deep truth? Okay, anything else about union energy, Spirit? let's just put these here because I can't believe that for union energies, we got love partnership and spiritual partnership. The other message I'm getting here, and this is so freaking exciting, is that finally energies on the planet are lining up so that the person you're in love with is your spiritual partner. I think for a very long time that hasn't been the case. I think we've had a lot of karmic relationships and soul relationships, and they're beautiful in their own right, but they're not always mission-based, soul-centered relationships. I think we're getting to a place, let me say it like this, we've reached a critical mass of healing within the feminine energies and the masculine energies that we can actually start being in service to the collective, that we can start giving back. What's really funny, I almost said giving back to the grid, because when someone sets up okay, this is going to be a weird analogy, but just bear with me, hang tight. When someone sets it up an off-grid electric situation, maybe they put solar panels on their house. So you can use direct power, right? You could use power. So when the sun's out and the solar panels are at full blast, you can run your home or whatever off of that. But when the sun goes away, the power goes away, right? So a lot of people develop these battery banks, right? So that they can actually fill all of those battery banks with the energy of the sun, so that when the sun is gone, you could live off of that energy. Then sometimes when the battery banks are full, people can actually sell that off-grid power back to the grid and actually make money off of that. So this is the weird analogy and visual that they're giving me, that when we've reached as twins this critical mass of healing, we actually get to give back some of that extra healing, that extra power, that extra love. We get to build infrastructures, for society that are loving, that make sense, that include the feminine and masculine equally. We get to move through life in this divine inner union. I'm so drawn, I just cannot believe these cards came out, and they're consecutive, 26 and 27. Yeah, sorry, I just had to feel into that. Also, I'm very drawn to the sacral energy. So, it's like topping off your gas tank. It's like you will be running with a full tank of gas in your creativity. You will be running on a full tank of gas in your sensuality, in your eros, in your creativity, in your ability to flow with that creativity. You'll have enough confidence and security and grounding, because you are a self-sourced sovereign being, that you will be able to interpret messages from. Okay, thank you, Spirit. I just got it. See how we have purple, blue, and then both the sacral Merkabas. you will be, when you're this grounded in this union, you will be able to receive direct downloads from source, interpret them, and immediately be able to communicate them out to the world around you. Now, that communication could look like a million different things. It could look like voice. Maybe you have the gift of gab and you will be, teaching people and speaking, and maybe it's a podcast or a YouTube channel or something like that. But it also could look like building something. It could be creative. You could build, you could dismantle structures for society. Maybe it's urban planning. Maybe, there is no shortage of ways that the twins get to do work on this planet. We infill this energy, this God frequency, this unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, oneness, the I am energy, whatever you want to call it. There is nowhere, no part of society that we cannot integrate this energy in. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, where are we going? Where are we going, Spirit? I just got to get some twin flame cards because I just feel like we're here. I also just had 2 cards hop off the deck. So let's just see. I'm just going to take them because why not? We have miracles and breaking free. Yeah. And again, remember that miracles in the land of alignment are ordinary, right? There's nothing special about a miracle. It's just a regular Tuesday for you, right? And when you start engaging in spirit that way, spirit starts engaging with your life that way. It's just simple. All right. Anything else for union energy, Spirit? Anything else for union energies? All right. We have speak your truth, express yourself. There is so much throat chakra energies here. All right, we have a bunch. Let me see. We have spiritual awakening, shift or be shifted. We have transformation, battle of the head versus heart. We have signs, mystical messages. I'm going to take them all. Why not? Let's just see what shows up. We have reprogram your soul, release, raise, and reclaim. And we have go within, healing, separation. Yeah. So for some of you, if there are any sticky parts, it's up to you to go into your soul, to enter your dark night, to enter your interior castle and excavate and do the work of whatever the sticky parts are. Like something I just talked about with my reader is we talked about it with each other actually, because she was also going through some physical challenges. Didn't we have, healing right here for the feminines. This is why I was shocked, because so many feminines I know are dealing with physical pain. I know 6 or 7 people that have had like throughout their back or have spine issues or hip issues or pelvis issues, foundational issues in the last like 2 months. So there's this sort of like excavating our health, rehabbing right now. Why am I telling you this? There was something, that we both honestly and openly said that if our twin showed up at our front door, we would not be physically ready to receive their energy. I'm still recovering from a back injury, and the way I move, my endurance, my stamina, the way I feel in my body is not, it's a foggy, distorted frequency. And so I'm doing the work to get back to my baseline. But it's a difficult journey and it takes as long as it takes. So go within yourself, feminines and masculines, and start to really take accountability. I mean, be profoundly empathic, compassionate, and loving to yourself, but also a little ruthless, because you're the only thing that's holding you back from this union, right? That's really what the message for all of us always is, that we are the only things in control of the energy, because the energy doesn't lie. And the energy, even if you're not in union with your person, even if you're not in communication, I don't care if you haven't spoken for 10 years, the energy is always in communication, right? So, yeah. Do I have anything else? I just looked down in the unconscious position. We have unification aligning with abundance. So yeah, didn't we have, when was I talking about abundance? Maybe the masculines for this manifestation. Once you come into union, you want that energy to be of the highest and best possible frequency. You want to give that energy, that frequency, that relationship, that person, place, or thing the highest and best possible support. You want to have the best outcome. So it's up to you to do your due diligence to prepare your life, prepare your vessel, prepare everything around you to prepare. Why do I keep saying prepare? prepare. For this energy to come in. I'm sorry. I apologize for being so distracted today. I don't always get this many visuals, but I get so many visuals and my brain goes into processing them and it's just silent for you guys. So I apologize, but it's also the nature of the beast, right? Is there anything else we want to get? We're at 35 minutes. I just feel like we're right there. Let's get some of these galactic cards. Anything else we need to know about this union on the horizon? You know, it's funny. I never wanted to be one of those readers that's like, union is coming, because people have been saying that for like ever. So I just have to go with, you know me by now. I draw people back to themselves, right? Because that's all we can always do is take accountability and control over what's showing up on our side of the street, right? We can't control anyone else or anything else. We can only control ourselves, how we respond to things, and our power that we put out into the world, and discernment over where we invest that power. Okay, Spirit, anything else? Maybe not. Anything else? All right, we're not using this deck. Where do we go? Thank you. We might be done. Oh, nope. All right, we're going to take all of these. Okay, what did I say for the masculines? Humility. We have humility, we have clearing, we have extraordinary, which I laugh because I gave you that whole spiel about taking the extraordinary out of God. We have divine love, and we have companionship. I mean, come on. Giving someone your complete presence is an astonishing gift. And if we have distractions on our path, then we are not fully present for this divine love that we so deeply say we've been claiming. It is important to be humble. Allow me, divine beloved, to always accept the right assistance. I welcome your help in every way and delight in receiving it. And also honoring that there's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored, right? Honor the extraordinary, but stay humble in this truth. Honor the knowing that your soul is fractaling out and is this extraordinary divine thing, but move from that grounded place with this divine love. When you offer everything to the divine with detachment, I mentioned this earlier, you begin a love affair with spirit. I think I said something like this earlier. When you show the divine, when you kneel at the feet at the altar of the divine and give your life over, say, I surrender my will to divine will, miraculous things will start to shape your reality. I had to look because I had to. In the unconscious position, we have flow. It says, allow me, divine, to move with the flow and respond with calmness and peace. Okay, let's just honor that it's really hard to flow. Let's just honor. I get why collectives are pushing it into the shadow, because we have been raised in a scarcity environment, right? You have to have enough money, you have to look a certain way, you have to have enough degrees and accolades under your belt to prove to the world that we're worthy, right? This is the false narrative that we've been raised under. So what does that include? Well, that includes being able to control everything in our environment. Controlling everything goes against flow, right? Flow is a divine wisdom that shows up on our path, and we get to choose to come into relationship with it, right? It's the intuitive dialogue that we're developing with the divine. It's like something comes in, we get a little taste, we get a little hit, and then we have to make a choice. Do we flow with that? Do we trust in this experience, this data that we're receiving, or do we bypass that and try to manipulate the energy around us to get our desired outcome? It never works. I just want to show you my painting that I did because it's pure flow. Look at all that flow. Look at that beauty. Yeah, I'm tooting my own horn. I had that over my bathtub in my house because I just wanted to feel extra flowy in the bathtub. Anyway, let's just honor how difficult this is. But you know what's funny? When you start to learn confidence with this relationship with spirit, when you start to understand that you can rely on spirit like you would rely on your best friend or your parent or someone in the 3D world, then you start to develop trust. Start small. Start small. Start, if you get the intuition to go for a walk, it's up to you to identify that that is divine wisdom. Anytime you hear should, oh, I should do this, that's divine wisdom. And you're using the word should because you know you're not going to do it, or you know you don't want to do it, right? If you knew it was divine wisdom, if you appropriately labeled it and exalted that truth, that simple truth, hey, I need to go for a walk right now, it would behoove me to do this, you would just go do it. You wouldn't say, I should do blah, 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 and then stay on the couch or stay in bed or like whatever. Trust me, I don't say this. I've been in that moment a million times, especially as someone who's experienced chronic pain. Yes, it's very hard for me to do the thing I know I should do. I think it's hard for most of us. Okay, moving on. Is there anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Let's just get some of these questions really quick. Anything else for these union energies? That's too many. I'm not taking all those. Thank you, Spirit. We have the ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. I think that's one of the hardest things to integrate on this twin flame path, to really trust in that, to understand that even when you're writhing in separation and heartbreak and desire and yearning and all the freaking emotions that come show up at our front door on this path, we have to understand that it's literally, we're being gifted. We're being gifted a moment to confront where we're tethered. We're being gifted a moment to confront where we are still attached. And we're given so many opportunities to return to love ourselves. If you got what you wanted when you originally wanted it, you probably weren't mature enough to be able to handle that level of, that altitude of type of relationship, right? If you're at, a level 1 and you're given a level 9 relationship, yeah, you're probably going to, it's probably not going to work out, right? So we have to understand that all of these steps have been strategically placed on our path to get us to some sort of next layer of self. I don't really love to use levels because it implies there's a hierarchy and people of higher consciousness are better than lower. No, it's more about awareness and how using your self-awareness can help you expand how much you can hold on the planet. So it's more about expansion than like a hierarchy than ascension. I try to use expansion more than ascension. Let me just look in the unconscious position. We have, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. This goes, where did I see the perseverance in reverse? Yeah. These two cards go together. So there's still some of you that don't believe in this double mission or that have felt called and are too scared to answer the call. Double mission for me is like the mission between twins, right? I have a mission as a feminine, they have a mission as a masculine, or whatever configuration it is. There's some of you that don't believe that you have the power to uplift humanity, that you could actually, you've heard me many times, I should start saying it at the beginning of all my readings, but my mission is to shift collective consciousness towards authenticity, unconditional love, and infinite oneness. That's my spiel. That's my elevator mission pitch. I say it all the time because that's what I'm doing. That's, remember about language. Be very careful. What language are you using? Are you using uplifting language to talk about yourself and others, or are you bringing people down? Are you, wishing blessings upon them? Or are you wishing something else, right? This is really important because you have to understand when you start to integrate and embody oneness, you start to understand that there is no other. So what you wish upon other, you wish upon yourself. Do you understand why language and intention is so important, that it's precise and pristine? Okay. I think that's it. Let's end on a Buddha wisdom. I'm just going to pick one. If I can open the deck. There we go. All right. We have something is what it is, only because of what it is not. For me, this is reminding us that, again, it's going back to this pain of it's happening for you, not to you. We might think something is what it is because of the pain we're experiencing, but we also have to see what it is not. It's like the negative space. If you've ever looked at negative space artwork, where there's actually a separate image in the absence of space. This is a really powerful thing to integrate, to understand that, again, everything is a gift, right? We get to use everything for our expansion. Everything around us is mirroring back to us a piece of self. It's up to us what we do with it. Okay, I'm done talking. This was an intense reading. I'm sending you all so much love. I'm very excited about this love partnership, spiritual partnership. I'm seeing it actually as a scale of justice, that finally, like, what we love is now in alignment with the spiritual path. Whereas before, it's like it wasn't, something was out of whack. Maybe what we were attracted to wasn't an exalted thing, wouldn't have taken us higher or expanded our capabilities in the spiritual realm. But now we are actually finally dropping in mind, body, spirit, and what we're attracted to is that which will take us deeper into the spiritual path. It's really powerful times. Very, very excited, very blessed and honored to be here at this time on the planetary timeline, and also to be here in service to you all. All right, that's all for now. I'm sending you all so much love. I hope this was supportive for you, and I will see you in the next one.